All right, you guys. So yesterday's Zoom, if you were not on it, we talked about how to guide the conversation. This is a question I've been getting a lot. So I decided just to write down the steps in which the conversation typically goes. I mean, every conversation is going to be a little bit different. But this way, if you were on the Zoom and want a refresher, this video will be made. And then also if you weren't, you can kind of see what we talked about last night. So it's listed in numbers 1 through 7, and I'm going to just go through them. If you want to take notes, you can, and write them down, and that will just help you, because I feel like when you're having a lot of conversations, you kind of lose track of where you're at sometimes in them, and you also don't necessarily know what the next step should be. So I'm just going to jump right into it, and starting with number 1 is, what are their health goals for the year? So this question is like at the very beginning of the conversation. So let's say you send a message to them and they say, sure. I mean, how many times have we gotten one-word responses? Or they voted on a poll and you send them the poll that they voted on and they say, sure, they want more info. Or somebody even could just message you out of the blue and just say, hey, I saw what you've been posting about. Tell me, what is it all about? And I feel like with that, at that moment, we get overwhelmed. We're like, okay, this is what it is, da, 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 and we word vomit, and we tell them way too much, because we have to remember that the only purpose in the conversation is to figure out what's in it for them, and to figure out why they would want to try these products, maybe why they would need this business opportunity. And so starting with that, we immediately need to jump into questions, because we could tell them a whole lot of information about all the amazing products and not focus on the ones that would speak to them, and then they feel like overwhelmed, they don't know where to start. So it's our job to kind of guide the conversation to help them understand if this is something they would like to try or not. So number 1, what are your health goals for the year? And the reason why I ask for the year is because this is probably not like something they've tried before, in the sense of, this is a health journey. This is not something that they're going to like order and then you're going to do this for 2 weeks and you're going to be, down 30 pounds. And like, it's not chemically driven, it's plant-based. And so these are fixing the root of a lot of our issues. And so we want to kind of start setting them up in their mind to be thinking long-term. This is for the year. And so at that point, we'll just start with a scenario of weight loss. They could just say, like they've said sure so far, and we've said, okay, perfect. So what are some of your health goals for the year? And you can list some, or you can just see what they say, because sometimes people will just tell you everything. They'll jump right into it. They'll tell you like what they've tried. They'll just go into all of it. And then a lot of the times we have people who will just say one word, weight loss, or they'll just say bloating, or they'll just say energy. And so from that, you're kind of like, okay, well, where do I go now? How do I get them to tell me more about that? Because ultimately, we need to get them talking. So you want to ask next, this is number 2, what have they tried before? So normally if they were to say weight loss, I would say, okay, perfect. So tell me what you've tried before. Like, where are your frustrations? What are the things in the past that you've tried for your weight loss that, left you needing something still? And at that point, you'll get tons of different answers. You could have somebody say, honestly, I just recently gained this 10 pounds and I saw your post and I thought I would reach out to you and see if you had anything that could help me with weight loss. And then you'll have another person say, girl, I've tried everything. I've done this, I've done this fad diet. And then you'll know for them, it kind of starts to let you in on some things that you could be experiencing later on in the conversation. So for that person who's tried everything, that should be a clue that they're probably going to have an objection to think, is this really even going to work for me? Because they've tried so much and they're still left with the same problem. So what about this is going to speak to them to think, this is worth trying. Even though I've tried so many things, this is worth it because I think it's going to work. And then with the person who's not tried anything, you're going to have to really build their belief in a different way, believing that they've come to you, which is like the best option first, and they don't have to look anywhere else because this is what's going to help them and why. So that would be step number 2. Step number 3, which these questions in your answer to the previous one, you'll end with the question. So as you're answering to them, whenever they say, what have you tried? And maybe they say they've tried everything. And you kind of explain, so-and-so, my friend so-and-so, she tried everything before too. And I know like her frustration when she started this, but it's been amazing to watch her journey from start to finish. And then kind of leave her hanging on that and then say, have you ever looked into anything holistic or natural to help with weight loss? And that's going to kind of start opening the door again, slowly educating them through questions of what these products are. They're natural, holistic products. They're plant-based. They're not chemically driven. And so if they've tried only things that are, I don't know, fad diet, quick fixes, things that are chemically driven, they might have similar expectations. And it's going to be our job to kind of show them this could be like something you've never tried before, and they're going to give you results that are sustainable, and this is why. So that would be question number 3. And then you'll go into step 4, and that is third-party validation. So kind of going back to the friend that you mentioned, you could say, you know, this is so-and-so's story. I want you to like watch it or read it and tell me what are the things you connect with on her. Because one of the blessings with all these products that we have is most of the time we can't connect with them. And that's why sharing people's stories on Facebook and sharing their stories on Instagram allow us to connect to so many people, because these products can help with so many things. So when they don't resonate with you, you can find that third-party validation that allows them to connect with and think, well, if it worked for her, it could potentially work for me. So that's huge. And you can show them a video, you can show them just even a post on Facebook, just send them to read. And then step number 5 is how it works and why it works / product details. So up until this point, you've had a decent conversation and you've not told them pricing. You've not told them anything about the products, because we don't know what prices or what products to recommend. I feel like we either jump too quickly into the recommending of products, or we don't do it soon enough. And they're like, hey, I just feel like we've danced around this. I want to know what it is. So at this point is when you'll say, I'm going to send you a couple things to look at. And I typically don't send prices at this point. I just send like how it works, why it works, and kind of educate them on the benefits of treating something at the root of the issue, or treating something with plant-based products. So at that point, you'll do that. And then number 6 is you will recommend 2 options. And then you will let them know, like, these are the options you can start with. And from there, you'll start with recommending one of the 199s, explaining to them the benefits of that, and you'll be able to tailor them to their needs. So you're not going to be just recommending a package and be like, it's such a great value, because price is not enough for people to say, oh, well, it's a really good value. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and jump in. What the cool part is when Plexus does incentives, or when they discount products for us, at that point, it's just something for them to say, you know, this is something that's going to benefit me. And right now it's on a sale, so I'm going to jump in and do it. But it's our job to do all the educating beforehand and let them know why it's a benefit to them. The fact that it's on sale should never be a reason to like start a conversation with somebody. You have to know what's in it for them with their health, what's in it for them with the results that they're wanting to achieve. And so then number 7 brings us to asking for the close. This is something that I feel like I've struggled with before, but you have to get to the point where you're like okay with it. And I hate the word closing, because I feel like it puts it about how it affects us, and that's not it at all. It's not about can we close them or not. It's more about, you know, getting to the point where they're like, okay, are you ready to jump in and try this and see if this is an option for you? Or are you thinking you might need to wait a little bit and, you know, maybe this isn't a good option for you? And letting them know that it's okay if they decide that it's not for them, because ultimately the whole reason of having conversations with people, the whole reason we post, the whole reason we do what we do is to reach people and help them meet their goals, whether it's financial goals and using this as a business opportunity, or it's health goals and changing something about their health that they've struggled with. So asking for, you know, the close or asking for the sale is a way to get to them to the point where they're like, yeah, let's do it, I'm ready. Or they might say, you know, here's my thing. And therein lies their true objection. So you can help kind of understand where they're coming from. Because if we don't ever ask for the sale, then we end up, number 1, sometimes not even finding out their objections. And honestly, I love objections because like that's where you begin to have real raw conversations, because people don't come right out and say their real objections. A lot of times they'll say something, you know, masking what is really behind it, because they might be embarrassed to be like, you know, here's the thing. I don't even think it's going to work for me because nothing ever works. And I'm so scared I'm going to try it and see no success and be in the same boat again and just be frustrated. So you'll get to see their real objections when you ask for the sale, but also a lot of times people don't know how to be like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I want to order. And so you kind of have to just jump out there and say, okay, what are your thoughts? Are you ready to do this? Are you thinking, maybe I have a few more questions, or maybe this isn't for me at all, and that's totally fine. And giving them the option to say no gives them freedom to make the decision for themselves, and it also gives them freedom to say their objection. I think people are afraid of being sold to, and they're afraid of, being pressured. And so whenever you say, it's okay if you don't want to do this right now, or it's okay if you have questions, or it's okay if you're unsure, it gives them kind of like freedom to express themselves truly. And that's why you kind of get to uncover the real objection. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys in guiding conversations. One last thing too, this is something that I've noticed. We've been having a lot of really fun things happening right now with corporate. And so kind of going back to talking about following up with a sale, or even just like starting the conversation with a sale going on, whenever you're following up with people, try to follow up with the number like right after the one that you would have just been at. So if, let's say you talk to them about what their health goals are and they say, weight loss. And then your next thing is, what have you tried before? Well, okay, let's say they don't respond. And then all of a sudden there's this awesome sale with this weight loss package that comes out, and you don't want to jump right into the sale for them with that conversation. You would want to go either to, asking them about what they maybe tried that was more natural, or even just sending them third-party validation, being like, there's some really fun things going on and I don't want you to miss out, but I wanted to show you so-and-so's story, because ultimately when I see it, I think this could possibly be what works for you. What are your thoughts? And letting them kind of see that versus being like, okay, so we just released a weight loss package. This is what it is, da, 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 because they don't know anything about the products yet. You haven't got to explain how they work, the awesome science behind it. You haven't got to explain any of that. So when they see you coming at them asking for a sale without really investing enough in the conversation to know why this would be a benefit to them, that's when it starts to feel salesy. So that will hopefully be helpful when following up too. So anyway, this is just a guide. I know not all conversations are going to go this way, but this is just kind of the flow of a general conversation. So I hope this helps, and I hope you guys have a great day.